that was then. Now we have a relaunch that is happening. Yeah. What are you excited about this new Showmax?
Honestly, all the shows.
Okay.
I've just said this, that the shows that are coming, the storytelling game has morphed, it's changed, and I love that these shows are coming as Showmax is relaunching. It's such a good standard that we are setting.
Right.
Yeah, as friends of Showmax, as partners with Showmax, as people who love Showmax and watch Showmax.
Yeah, Showmax is big on original content in that way.
Yes, and you're missing out if you're not watching Showmax.
And I'm sure that makes you excited because you've, I think, mentioned a lot that you write.
Yes.
So the storytelling aspect, I'm sure you're loving that so much.
So much, yeah.
What is it doing for the film industry in general? You feel, actually, when we were speaking to your brother from Untying Cat, your adopted brother,
Yes.
from the film that's dropping tomorrow. I'm sure by the time people watch this, it won't be tomorrow.
Yes,
so
yes.
that day when it dropped. So he spoke about, before then there wasn't much space for people who want to participate in this industry. How has this opened avenues for more of creators and creatives?
A wise man once said, "Siaki Kenya kuna content."
Unashinda ni choose gani?
Unashinda choose, and this is just like one of the best platforms to be on.
Yeah.
And it's giving. Now, as a writer, I've never felt so freed up to just write. Kenya is an open country. You can experiment with a lot, but we're also very conservative in our storytelling.
Yeah.
And we do not like to tell stories that would offend a certain community. We have to respect everyone.
Yeah.
But on Showmax, there's freedom to go where people do not want to go to, and tell those stories that people do not want to tell. And as a writer, that has really excited me.
Game is going up.
Yeah, it's going up. It's going
Okay.
up, yeah.
So, since this is also a chance for consumers to get to interact with the content that Showmax is offering, previously, of course, we've had that ish with our consumer base. Wako like, tumeona hii story tena before, tumeona hii story. Now with new films coming up, just as a last word to our consumers on how they can be excited and what they can be excited for.
Be excited about the story. Be excited about the topics it's gonna touch. Be excited about taking our entertainment, our film entertainment to another level. Be very excited. You know those shows that you watch and you're like, I wish Kenyans could produce such shows. These are those shows.
Kenyans are producing.
We are producing. So get your subscriptions ready. Don't miss out. Usilete spoilers online because trust me, kutakuwa na spoilers.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Just lastly, wakiona Untying Kantai.
Yeah.
All right, they check out for you.
Masi Mutisia.
Okay.
Yeah, Masi Mutisia AI on Instagram, Masi Mutisia on X, not Twitter. Masi Mutisia
Formerly
everywhere.
Twitter. All
Masi
right.
Mutisia, yeah.
Asante sana, Masi.
Thank you so much.
Have a good time.
You too.
All right.
Yes.
Welcome. This is KUTV.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for speaking to us.
Good to be here.
Please just introduce yourself briefly again.
I can't even tell you half of how amazing that was to be on the red carpet at Showmax relaunch, and also whatever happened inside. A host of performances from Nikita Kering to Okelo Max. It was just one of a kind launch, and Showmax 2.0 will showcase local content, as I said there, from some of the interviews that you've seen there, and of course we'll be showing a bit more of that. That was just a teaser into what happened at the red carpet. There'll be more conversations even with Nzola Miranda, who's building high performance teams and also taking care of partnerships at the MultiChoice Group. There was also, of course, the main conversation and the main speech from the general manager of Showmax in East Africa, that is Emma Gishonge, who had a press briefing earlier in the day and then later on in that red carpet and launch that happened in Sankara in Westlands. Showmax is giving you a host of new content with their partnerships from Telemundo, DreamWorks Animations, Warner Bros, HBO, Comcast, NBC Universal. You can get to enjoy the latest Oppenheimer, which is live on Showmax, and see what that looks like. It won all the Oscars in the latest edition of Oscars, so you can get to see what that looks like as you wait for House of Dragons coming later in the year, and of course a lot of local entertainment from Single Kiasi to Gigi to Pepeta, Untying Kantai are some of the cast that we talked to there on that launch. It was exciting Remember, as I said, the Showmax prices begin from 300 Kenyan shillings for mobile only, and then 500 Kenyan shillings. You're getting that to stream football, Premier League football on mobile only. Again, 650 Kenyan shillings if you want just shows with no Premier League football, and 700 Kenyan shillings discounted price exclusively for mobile phones if you want to watch football and also to access shows. But if you want to see all these shows across all your devices, that is, you can watch it on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, and still watch it on TV, which means you're giving access to many of the people in your household. 1,000 Kenyan shillings is what that gets you. 1,000 Kenyan shillings is the package for Showmax to stream and show across all your devices. So visit showmax.com and then check it out and let us know what you think about the new Showmax and the future of streaming in Africa. Now, since we are speaking so much about information that you can get on Showmax, we'll be coming back to discuss the Information Act of 2016 that was enacted by Parliament. I have a guest of the day. I'll be letting you in on that. Don't go too far. Biashara Tuesday, we'll be right back.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
This is your first time?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but I can do this.
Yeah.
Mess with me. Yeah, let's do this, man.
From the hospital corridors, we bring you experts to discuss issues affecting your health, from diet to mental health. The familiar and the ignored are both put into perspective. We then dive into the environment and look at the effects of climate change and its solutions. Join me, Mutegi K. Martin, every Friday at 9 p.m. as we learn on how to better our health while taking care of our environment. Only on KUTV.
Ni kaunti maarufu kwa kuzalisha maziwa na ukuzaji wa majani chai. Pia, serikali ya kaunti inawahimiza wakulima kukumbatia mitindo mingine ya kilimo kuzidisha mapato.
Kama kuna kikundi moja inafanya biashara ya kuuza kuku, hao pia tumewafadhili kuwafunza jinsi ya kuhandle zile kuku kwa sababu wanaleta kwa wingi.
Haya yote tunakuletea katika Boresha Kilimo, toleo la kaunti ya Bomet.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Government expenditure, government mis-expenditure. I think that's what we should be calling it. With some more on this show so that we are putting them some pressure. I'll make sure when I spend it carefully. But what if you wanted to know what President William Ruto spent last month in terms of State House renovations and rehabilitations? Is that information that you're privy to? What if you wanted to know what parastatals are up to in Kenya? Is this something? Which are entities using your tax? Is this something that you can get access to? To what extent do you have the power to receive information that is there for public domain? As a private institution, as an individual in Kenya, this is provided to you through the Information Act, which I have here opened to have a look at. The Information Act that was put there in 2016, or that was put into law in 2016 by Parliament, has been in effect since then. Gives you, that power to get information from the government and from also other entities that have information that is relevant to you for the public domain. So why did Parliament see it fit to bring us this kind of information? What are the exemptions to this? And as a citizen, I'm asking my guest of the day here before we go on, and he'll be letting us that information when he comes into the show, is I am allowing other people to have this right to information as I am as well. So when I'm sleeping at night, should I fear that someone else is accessing my information and has power through the Constitution to ask government to give them my information? To what level should I be afraid of this, or should I be afraid at all? And in what ways does it give me power over the government or power over some of the information that I should be receiving from the government? I want you to put this into effect as from today. Yani kama kuna ile information ulikuwa unataka kujua, just put it there and then ask us if it's also falling under that category of access to information. Timothy Kimayo is here for the second time to give us this conversation. He's the Communication and Advocacy Officer at Inform Action Kenya. We had a conversation some time back as well, and then here it's just like a continuation on information and access to information. Welcome back, Timothy. I'm glad to have you here on Biashara Tuesday.
Thank you so much, OKENYE. And
yes.
Again, I'm really grateful that I have this opportunity to speak on the issue of Access to Information Act.
Right.
And I must say that I'm elated and honored to be here. I think the other time we were talking about information disorder, and how, we're talking about information disorder, how it affects, democratic processes, how it's affecting service delivery. But today, this is a timely conversation, and I'm glad that we want to look at how Access to Information Act of 2016 will affect service delivery. You mentioned a few things, including how government is spending public resources,
yes.
And you've also talked about the 1 billion that has been allocated for disaster management fund, and questions around how these resources have been utilized are some of the things that maybe we can look at and see how what citizens or how citizens are able to access that kind of information from the government entities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for always creating time as well here for us. Maybe I think then we can speak about Inform Action Kenya. What is it all about, and what kind of advocacy are you up to in Inform Action Kenya?
Okay, so Inform Action Kenya is a unique human rights organization that uses film and community discussions to get the communities to speak out on certain issues. For instance, if we're looking at, let me give you an example of one of the issues that we were looking at a few weeks ago when I was in the Koso region, is an health facility, which was, the construction of the health facility started in the year 2016, but up to date, that facility has not been completed. The structure itself is done, but now the finishing of the same and also equipping of the health facility has not been done. You can imagine that is more than 5, 6, 7 years ago, and this has not been done. So we just help the communities now to speak on these issues, and we use a very interesting approach where we have field teams in different. We have about 6 bases in the western region, 1 in the central Koso region of Eastern Kenya, and also in Nairobi region, where we have a team that is made up of a field director, there's a camera person, there's a driver. So because they're mobile, they usually use a car, and they move closely to the people at the community level, just to give them that opportunity to speak and take action. We use a very interesting approach, OKENYE. It's called Watch, Discuss and Act.
Watch, Discuss and Act.
So through the community film screenings, the communities are able to look at how different communities in different parts of the country took action for about the issues, and then from there they're able to they'll have a session to discuss the issues that they're grappling with, and then later on then they decide to take action. So they can either take action by protesting or maybe presenting petitions to authorities based off the issues that they're going through. Okay,
interesting angle there using film. Why was that the approach that you guys decided to go with?
I think film is it's an interactive tool, because again this is something that is that is interesting, and it showcases what people are exactly doing at the ground, at the community level. So because of that interaction, then people are able to discuss based on that film.
Nice. So when we are talking the ATI Act, I'm sure this is something that is very core to the discussions happening at Inform Action. Is it something that you're often looking at, matters with access to information?
It is, and it's important to note that you've mentioned earlier that information is power, because again, that gives you an upper hand in terms of decision-making processes. You're able to make informed decisions. And so when talk about access to information, it's because there's a lot of information that is held by the government entities, public entities, that is very crucial. But the question is, do Kenyans understand the processes of getting that information? What are some of the critical information that you can obtain from the counties or maybe the national government? How is your information handled in those levels? So those are some of the issues that we're looking at, and then we are trying to help the communities and the citizens in terms of building the capacity on how to access that kind of information.
Now you've brought here information numero uno that every Kenyan should have, which is the Constitution of Kenya that you have here with you, which is the number one information. I think every baby akizaliwa anafaa kupigwa constitution.
That is true.
Pigwa constitution before hata urapiwe.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, that is true. It's something that every Kenyan should be having at the
it is.
Why did you come with it? Maybe we can start.
I came with it because of this is a very important document for any Kenyan, because if you look at the first article of this constitution, it talks about Kenyans having that, they have the power. All the power belongs to the people. If you look at this constitution, sovereign, that is what I was looking for. So also the sovereign power belongs to the people. So if you look at this constitution, then as a citizen of Kenya, you have every right to if today we're talking about access to information, you have that right to request for that kind of information. Look at articles like 37 on the right to protest and picketing and whatnot. So this is available in the Constitution.
This is a Bible for
This is a
Kenyan
Bible for,
citizen,
yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah. That is true.
Should have it. This is what we should be having Benny Hinn walk around.
Exactly.
Sorry, let me not get distracted. Let's focus on access to information. The Access to Information Act of 2016. Does it truly empower Kenyans to access information, or are there bureaucratic roadblocks which hinder its effectiveness? Because normally, and correct me if I'm wrong, for someone who's out there at home, if I tell them to just walk into a police station and get some information, which I'm sure some of it they can access from that point, they'll be like, unajua hiyo ni story. I can't walk into the treasury niwaambie, give me a copy of the finance bill, the report from last year, the expenditure. I wanna have a look at a few things. And we see it in films, when we are shown a situation maybe in other developed democracies where someone could just walk in and have it printed even for free and walk out with 35 length pages of worth of a document. Does this act truly empower Kenyans? Is this something that we can use? You mentioned Article 37, and it's also one of those which are challenged when it comes to demonstrations happening. Like, is it inanisaidia ama imepiko tu?
That is true. Okay, I think the issue that is, the main challenge that we're experiencing in Kenya is, first is people do not understand that there's an act, that gives them that right to access information. I think that is a problem. If every Kenyan could understand that they have that right to access information, then I think things could be easier.
Okay.
Now, for this particular, just to answer your question is, I think Kenyans there should be that kind of a continuous capacity building on this kind of, articles. This is very crucial because, again, for you to be able to, track how public resources are spent, how the different documents or maybe how county processes are being done. It's important for you to understand that you have that right to seek any kind of information from any public entity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this is important because again, it's important because it fosters what is called accountability and transparency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess I think access to information means the very first thing is the government should be providing the Constitution of Kenya to every single Kenyan.
That is true. There's what is called there's a term I'm looking for. There's what is called is it public information disclosure. So this talks about government entities having that mandate of making sure that information is made public without necessarily waiting for any formal application. So they have a mandate as provided for in the Constitution of Kenya. So this Act of Parliament, the most important thing is that it gave now the government of Kenya a mandate to ensure that they're able to provide that information that is of public interest to the public, not just by waiting for any requester to make that formal application, but it's a responsibility to do it.
This is something that they should do even before we prompt them to do so.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it also, does it apply to private bodies as well?
It does. Yeah, it does. Now, if you look at the Article 35, it talks about how these Access to Information Acts enables you to get an information from any state organ and also individuals and private entities. And this happens when we're talking about you're trying to ensure that Kenyans are able to enjoy their right or maybe the fundamental freedoms. So that is now where you have that right to access information. However, there are limits to access to information. I think that is a discussion we'll have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing it applies especially even issues of public interest when it comes to CCTV footages.
Exactly.
Some financial transactions, cold records, which we see happen time to time with telecommunication services. But again, limitations do exist as with everything. But we'll get into that maybe another time or even within this conversation. But I'm interested when the government provides something. The Act of Parliament 2016. It's not easy. It's not. Let's say it's not normal for us to receive something from Uncle Sam. So they provided the right to access information. What really motivated Parliament to do this shift from secrecy to transparency?
I think one of the things that as really was important was the aspect of transparency and accountability.
Okay.
Because again, we're talking about public resources, and there's the question of how these public resources are being utilized by state officers. So it was important because number two is it also helped the communities or maybe the citizens to be able to access that kind of information from any state organ or any public entity. And then also one of the things that really motivated the parliament is so that now government institutions will take up the role of making sure that they publicize any information that is intended for the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are saying effectively we have seen a shift where Kenyans are genuinely getting information that they want or that they deserve.
Yeah, to some extent. However, we have continued to witness a number of challenges, including, I think, the main challenge in terms of public communication is the issue of now, audience segmentation, understanding the audience, because I know that there are different variables that you need to look at while planning or maybe doing your communication. There's the issue of internet penetration. I think that is a challenge because again, most of the time, some of these documents are published in the websites, but do you think, or maybe do you believe that everyone in the country is able to access that kind of information?
Definitely not.
So I think that aspect of now, understanding your audience and also how information is being disseminated is one of the challenges that we're still experiencing in Kenya today. And also how the complexity of most of these documents, because look at something like the finance bill of 2024. You can imagine how
complex
it's really complex. And that is where now the issue of simplifying some of this information to a format or maybe to to a language or maybe in a way that the public can easily understand. I think those are some of the issues that we're still experiencing in this.
Now I see the gap that Information and maybe more of us should be plugging into. That is creating that bridge to reduce the complexity.
Exactly.
That is there with these documents.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, we're working with different development partners like Bread for the Wall, and we have also the European Union that has been supporting us in terms of either working directly with the communities or through grassroots organizations in terms of building the capacity on some of these issues, like Access to Information Act. And that is now where the issue of simplifying some of these documents comes in.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know things like county integrated development documents, those documents are really big. So what we're trying to do is simplifying some of these documents, make them, put them in a format that, that is interactive.
Yeah, for sure. Is there a way for me to put the government up to task so that my mother understands what is there in the Finance Bill 2024? I feel like this is information that is relevant. This act does give me that level of power. How can I use the power within this act to ensure that information that is relevant when it comes to maybe matters of vaccination, matters of, as we said, finance, maybe contracts and everything, there's critical information that is relevant to the democratic process, especially if we're taking a look at the finance bill. This is important to inform someone's maybe democratic mind. Next time when I vote, this is how I should go about. And I feel this is information that I should put the government to task to ensure my mother, my aunt, my grandfather understands what is there in the finance bill. Is there a way for me to do that? Make sure I'm provide.
Yes, it is. There is, and as I mentioned earlier, there are different ways you can do it. There's public participation is provided for in the Constitution of Kenya. That is very critical, and Kenyans can use that platform to ensure that they're able to, advocate for some of the issues, or maybe push, or maybe put the government to task. So they can use that platform. Number two is with the advent of the internet, I think there's an opportunity as well to, expand civic.
Education.
Exactly. So the digital space is very important again for us as Kenyans. In terms of holding government entities to account. I
can say for sure public participation, I think, has improved from the reports that I've been reading here when it comes to matters of public interest, even at the county level, I've seen cases where when the Mombasa finance bill, also Mombasa County finance bill came out, I saw residents coming up together to go petition with the governor and give out their sentiments as well. We've seen that in Nairobi County. I've seen it in Kisii County as well, and also a few other things that happened in between the finance bill where Kenyans are needed to give their opinion. Well, we have not seen the results on the other end, which is taking into account what the citizens are saying. But I think that's a good step.
It is, yeah, it is.
It is quite a step.
It is.
It's a cultural shift of that nature. And I want us to also talk about cultural shift in terms of access to public information or access to information, as is with this act that you're talking about. You mentioned that capacity building is going to be important if we need people to also walk into government institutions and demand for information. What can we do in terms of cultural shift such that it's a norm for all of us to put the government to task, put these public entities to task in terms of getting information? How can I normalize it that I can walk into the Ministry of Health and ask them about vaccination records from 2020? What can we do in terms of cultural shifts?
First is it's good to acknowledge that we have made strides in terms of our democracy.
Yeah.
And we've achieved a lot. But again, there's this kind of stereotype where, let me use an example of the political space and how ODM or maybe the communities that is perceived to be supporting ODM. These are people who are seen to be proactive, in terms of calling out at the government and protesting and whatnot. There are different communities who feel like if they try to seek information from a certain institution or an office, that brings it's against their culture.
Yeah, it's against the norm.
This is an elder. This is someone who is respected,
chosen by God.
Exactly. So you can't ask questions.
Yeah.
I think there should be that shift for whole Kenyans to understand that this is a right that cuts across all the communities. Everyone has the right to information, because again, most of these issues, when talk about corruption or embezzlement of funds, it affects all counties in Kenya. So if you want to ensure that we're able, all the taxes that we are contributing, or maybe we are contributing, is being utilized in a manner that is that is expected or maybe required by the Constitution of Kenya, then we have to take a step in terms of understanding this act and now making sure that we're able to ask some of these questions. Because again, in during while looking at maybe things like annual development plans, I know that the communities are heavily involved in terms of development of the document.
Yes.
So let me give you an example of, let's say, a dispensary or maybe an health center where around 10 million has been allocated. So you have every right to ensure that you're able to track how that money is being utilized and how long it took for that kind of that particular facility to be concluded. So it's important for Kenyans to ensure that they're able to ask some of these questions.
Right.
Yeah.
A right to information is also a right to your rights.
That is true.
You're getting access to what you need to be privy to in terms of what the government is doing. I have here an article which I was actually looking up for my next question. There were efforts by a parliamentary committee to establish how the Kenya Defence Force spent 135 billion Kenyan shillings, and this proved very futile because the Defense Cabinet Secretary, Eden Duale, refused to give a breakdown of the expenditure of how KDF spent this money in 2022 and in 2023. So, which brings me to this question of national security versus public scrutiny. Exempt information, which is a double-edged sword, right? How does the Act ensure, or is there a way actually to ensure that exemptions are used genuinely and not as a way to maybe shield government missteps? Because, I would be very curious on why he doesn't want me to know what the KDF spent. But on the other hand, it will be maybe an issue of national security. So how do we balance that feeling? Or does the Act give me actually a way to do that?
So if you look at this Act, it protects two people. It protects the government and also protects the person who requesting that information, a requester.
Okay.
You see? So for this particular case, we were talking about exempt information. This is basically information that is deemed to be sensitive. And most of the time, if this information is made public, it jeopardizes the security or maybe the operations of that government institution. That becomes an issue. It becomes a challenge for such kind of. But again, the scenarios where some of this information is said to be of public interest.
Okay.
Right? So especially when we are asking questions on accountability. And number two, if we are looking at how public funds have been utilized.
Okay.
And for the case of
KDF.
KDF, I think that is that was a question of accountability. It was more of accountability and not issues of security and whatnot. So I think yes, asking for that information is critical, because again, these are public resources. These are taxpayers' money. It's important for them to make them public. Yeah, that is your money.
Yes.
And it's important for you to understand how it's being utilized.
Okay.
So I think as much as it's protecting this kind of information, protecting this kind of institutions, then there's what is called issues of public interest. Yeah, that is a matter of public interest.
Okay.
But if you look at this article again, it gives such institutions the right to withhold that information for a period of 30 years.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So you withhold it for this 30 years and then you can make it public.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So does this give me also some kind of peace, knowing that when I'm sleeping at night, as I said earlier, my friend Kevin isn't going there asking the government about where I live and what I do during my time? Does it, give me that peace of mind, knowing it also protects me in that way?
Exactly. That, as I mentioned earlier, these limitations in some of these acts of parliament or maybe regulations, because again, there is what is called the Data Protection Act that protects your privacy, which is again key in terms of protecting or maybe the extent in which someone can access your information or may request your information. If that kind of information that is requested about an individual is likely to affect or maybe affect the safety of an individual or maybe an health of an individual, that is where now those limitations come in. And then when you're talking about issues of sensitive information, like for that case of maybe the defense ministry and whatnot, any information that is sensitive, then there are some kind of limitations to that.
All right. So that is what you get there. That is that peace of mind that you get there, but also the power with the Access to Information Act, ATI, passed in 2016. So maybe just to, again, go through it real quick before I get into my last bits of questions. Parliament passed this law for you to have this, to facilitate and make it easier for you to enjoy the right to access information that is provided by the Constitution, which we have with us here today. It also creates a way for the public, which means for you and private institutions to provide information when requested, and to make it easier to get this information from private bodies, especially when the information will assist in protection and the enjoyment of other people's rights, to encourage the public and private institutions to regularly provide information about their work, and to protect those in good faith who provide information of public interest, aka whistleblowers. Yeah? Hapo ndo wako protected sana. To create a way for educating wananchi about the right to information, as we are doing here on the show, and also to give the Commission on Administrative Justice the powers to ensure this law is followed. So go to your member of parliament and request for information about what he's been up to and what he's up to in the next few months, because this is information that is given to you and the power is there in the Constitution, Article 35. Now, information activism. We've seen situation, as I've mentioned, with whistleblowers there, where this access to information has actually brought some good and sparked positive change. Given the latest fertilizer scandal, that information, we've seen Okia Umtata digging up information here and there, and I think it's a good sign for Kenyans who think that it isn't working, that they should look at this beyond the law. Cultural shift to make mentally, that the Constitution is offering you an opportunity to get this information for your own public good. Into the future, how do you think we can strengthen this act further to empower Kenyans and hold institutions more accountable?
So I think first is I had mentioned something to do with proactive disclosure, where some of these institutions are required to make sure that this information is made public. This act is fair enough to me. And what we need to do is that continuous capacity building.
Okay.
However, there are some sections where maybe there's a need for some amendment, especially in terms of, there's the offenses where, the offenses, there are some issues that touches on offenses that maybe needs to be relooked on. Number two is there's need to look at how long that information takes for you to be able to get that information, because again, there's a process of you accessing that kind of information. And then I think also the issue of people working in those institutions, or maybe the access information access officers, this need to expand that scope, because again, I think looking at this document, there's a limit to who can make sure who can provide that kind of information.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And there's also an audit trail, which is a mandatory part to have a look at that request process. I just wanted to remind people that hakuna kitu kidogo unafaa utoe. According to Section 12 of that Access to Information Act of 2016, it is supposed to be given to you free of charge. So unlike your OB or whatever else you get charged at the police station for kitu kidogo, this one you should get information for free, and it's provided to you there in Section 12 of the Access to Information Act of 2016. Thank you very much for this dynamic exploration of what the Access to Information Act looks like for Kenyans. Just one thing, when you're talking about information which has hit our desks here in terms of the finance bill of 2024, I just wanted to get your opinion as an expert when it comes to these issues. The Treasury is taking through this finance bill of 2024 to give access to KRA or get personal information, so financial transactions, expenditure and whatnot, so that they are aware who are tax cheats and who are, you're spending 10 million but tax returns are at nil. So they want to see what you're doing in there, and this is very private, sensitive information. Then there's the Data Protection Act of 2019. And one thing that you've kept saying here is that when it's an act, that's the law. You've been provided that power by the Constitution. Is there a way for us to fight this? Whatever the Treasury is trying to do with KRA?
As I mentioned earlier, I think some of these laws or maybe acts of parliament have limitations. And one of the laws that really protects Kenyans is the privacy right. Right to privacy. Someone cannot, there's an extent in which someone can access some of your personal information.
Right.
So as much as we're talking about tulipe ushuru tujitegemee, I think it's important for the government of Kenya to understand that, there are limits to what you can
do.
You can access, you can do. Right?
Okay.
So I think the limitations of some of this, and this is my perspective, again, from this kind of discussions that are going on. I think Kenyans have that right to they can advocate for what they want. There's an opportunity for Kenyans to participate in a public participation exercise, for them to be able to, if there are issues that they feel like, no, this is not going through, and this is not for their, it's not of their interest, then they have that opportunity to ensure that this, some of these kind of proposals are what are shut down.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So it's important to understand some of these rights again, limitations to some of these articles, so that we're able to, make that kind of informed decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are offices that we can walk into for this to be, taken care of. One is, the legislature, where we have members of parliament, and their whole MO, their whole job, their whole JD is to ensure that everything that is written there in the Constitution is, taken into account when the executive is doing its work, or when the government at large is doing its work. So I feel also maybe just to add on from my own point of view is, walk as we are doing public participation for that finance bill of 2024, walk into Bunge Towers, the newly launched, fresh, shining Bunge Towers. Walk into your MP's office, show them Article 35 of the Constitution, and then also show them the 2019 Data Protection Act, and tell them, of course, this is wrong, and therefore, when it comes to voting for the finance bill of 2024, I expect you to be on my side, right?
Exactly. That is how it should be. But again, what we've witnessed from time to time is the same, members of parliament. We elected them to advance our interests as Kenyans. But the challenge we continue to see is they are seen to be advancing the interests of individuals, which again contradicts what is provided for in the Constitution of Kenya.
Right. Yeah. And the Constitution is greater than any other individual, regardless of whatever seat they are holding in the Republic. Akikataa pale Bunge Towers, just turn around, go to the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, the ODPC, enacted after that 2019 Data Protection Law. Alafu pia umwambie analalisha kazini. They should be also handling these matters. It's a government agency that's supposed to take care of ensuring there's appropriate handling of your personal data. KRA are very notorious. I want to put them on spot. They started this personal, peeking into personal life just a few years back when they said they will be monitoring social media activity of Kenyans. Kama unaenda holiday, unapiga aluta back to back, they will be looking at that party after party to see whether you're a tax cheat. Now they want to go after bank transactions, what kind of bank accounts I hold, what kind of properties I own. It's good up to a point where some of that information is way personal for me. So mnanijua sana. Let's go to dinner first. Kare. Yeah. Wapeleke pole pole. Asante sana for creating time for us here this morning. Maybe just a last word when it comes to access to information for Kenyans, just to ensure we are drumming the message home that they should be getting this information availed to them. Kuna disaster management funds released last year. I've been one of those people on this show asking, wapi 10 billion? So maybe there's a way to also remind Kenyans to use this to their own advantage as a call to action. Okay. Yeah.
So speaking of disaster management fund, I believe that about 1.6 billion was allocated for this particular fund. And as you're aware, about half of that has been spent already. But it's important for Kenyans again to ask such kind of questions. Yes. How some of these funds are being utilized. And also you discuss about how the 10,000 is being, the disbursement, the status of that disbursement. Yes. And raises questions about accountability and transparency. However, this is my call to action. We really appreciate the Constitution of Kenya because again, it's progressive and inclusive. And when it comes to Access to Information Act, it's very important. It's key in terms of, providing that, so maybe enabling citizens, Kenyan citizens who are hardworking to ensure that they're able to, claim their rights as rights holders. They're able to ask questions from the public entities. So this is what I want to ask Kenyans. It's important for you to, take time to understand how this act looks like and why is it important for you to, understand the processes. How can you get that information? Where can you get that information? And also, there is something that I almost forgot to mention is the same act also provides for an information access officer who will help you in terms of providing that information that you're requesting. So you request that information either from the county or maybe national government. The information access officer will be there. And when we talk about information access officer, that can be a CEO, and the same CEO can either delegate duties to different officers in the office. So you can access any information from any public entity. You have that right. You have the power as provided for in Article 1 of the Constitution. So it's important. And also we are calling on stakeholders and the government itself to also help us in terms of building the capacity of Kenyans and to understand more about this act and all acts of parliament.
Okay, all right. The ATI Act, we've delved into the Access to Information Act, a very powerful tool for Kenyans to hold their leaders into account and also to shape the future of this nation. Remember, this is just a blueprint. The most important bit of it is the collective action by informed citizens. And I just want to conclude it with what you said, which was watch, discuss, and act,
yeah.
right? So let's watch how Kenyans utilize this act and discuss its impact on their lives, as well as work together to ensure that there's a future where transparency of our rights and of our information shines brightly and also helps us put our government institutions and other entities into account. Thank you very much
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, again, of course, not to finish this conversation here. There's much more that will come, especially even after public participation happens.
Exactly.
I think we can get to see
that is true.
How that has gone down, right?
Exactly. And also one thing that maybe I don't want to forget is the commencement of the Public Benefits Act that was gazetted by the government of Kenya. I think that is also a milestone for public benefits organizations like us. Then we're able to organize ourselves and be able to advance the interests of Kenyans. So I think it's a step towards the right direction.
Step forward. I saw CS Kindiki putting out yesterday.
Yes.
All right. That's a step forward. And we're hoping to take some more. Going for a break here on Biashara Tuesday. I'll be right back. Don't go far. Okay. Okay, so I have here the Access to Information Act as it is in the Chapter 4, Bill of Rights. So I'll just read it out to you so that isikuwe ni jaba. Tumekuambia hapa just the discussion of air. We've had with an advocacy director at Inform Action. He's been here before talking about public information disorder. So today was Access to Information with Timothy Kimayo. He is the Communication and Advocacy Officer at Inform Action Kenya. The Constitution of Kenya in Chapter 4, the Bill of Rights, Part 2, Rights and Fundamental Freedoms, Act 35, Access to Information, says every citizen has the right to right of access to information held by the state and information held by another person and required for the exercise or protection of any right or fundamental freedom. Every person has the right to correction or deletion of untrue or misleading information that affects the person. Yeah? So kama wanasema wewe ni Mluya na wewe ni Mkale, unaenda uko na fix, wanna change your information. The state shall publish and publicize any information, any important information affecting the nation. That's why you see the Kenya Gazette giving out the Finance Bill, the Public Act, and all of the other information that is privy and relevant to you. So put it into action by requesting all the relevant information that you want from private and public entities and even individuals, as long as it's being used to the exercise and protection of your rights. So it's important that you have that. And get yourself the Constitution of Kenya, the #1 document for access to information to you as a citizen. Everyone has the right to access this information, be it an individual or an organization as well, and is protecting you and the government at the same time, as we've heard there from our expert of the day. Now, to break that serious tone of the Constitution and warm it up a bit with more red carpet interviews from last week, where we attended the relaunch of Showmax in Kenya, officially Showmax 2.0. At the red carpet, we spoke to various cast members of shows that you can find on Showmax, including Untying Kantai, Gigi, and Pepeta. Some of them are on Netflix, on Volume, and the likes. This is some of the African original content that you can enjoy from Showmax. But let's hear some more from the people who are on the ground and also enjoy what happened at that launch. Keep it here. Biashara Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Tumeona hii story tena before, tumeona hii story now with new films coming up. Just as a last word to our consumers on how they can be excited and what they can be excited for.
Be excited about the story. Be excited about the topics it's gonna touch. Be excited about taking our entertainment, our film entertainment to another level. Be very excited. You know those shows that you watch and you're like, I wish Kenyans could produce such shows. These are those shows.
Kenyans are producing.
We are producing. So get your subscriptions ready. Don't miss out. Usilete spoilers online because trust me, kutakuwa na spoilers.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. Just lastly, wakiona Untying Kantai.
Yeah.
All right, they check out for you.
Masi Mutisia.
Okay.
Yeah, Masi Mutisia AI on Instagram. Masi Mutisia on X, not Twitter. Masi Mutisia everywhere.
Twitter.
Masi
right.
Mutisia, yeah.
Asante sana, Masi.
Thank you so much.
Have a good time.
You too.
All right. Yes. Welcome, this is KUTV.
Thank you so
Thank you for speaking to us.
Good to be here.
Please just introduce yourself briefly, alafu pia briefly again. What is it that is happening here now that we are on the red carpet? Nini inaendelea huko?
I go by the name Kology, aka Kolographer manze, and kitu inaendelea hapa ni that Showmax wameka kutupatia vitu zingine hatari sana. So Showmax is introducing new things, new shows, bringing some magic and some juice into some programs. So ndio kitu tumeka mkusheki leo. Leo kuna a few programs zinaenda kulaunchiwa, 4 of them. Yeah. One which is going to be launched today, another one tomorrow, another one the next day. So hiyo ndio kitu tumeka mkusheki na tumeka witness magic.
Right. Tuko hapa very excited actually, and you're well dressed.
Thank you so much manze.
Tunaweza ongelea fit kidogo.
Nafuata nyayo yako, bro. Nafuata nyayo yako.
Tunaweza ongelea fit for 1 second hata.
Sure. Enyewe ni ya kuongelewa tu.
Sema kitu.
So I've been dressed by my sister-in-law.
Nice.
Called Clara. Mwanzo amepiga shughuli moja hatari sana.
Ni safi.
Hatari sana.
Okay.
Nashukuru.
Nice. So before we talk about where we can see you in the films that are coming up, maybe kidogo tu mali watu wanaweza kuangalia in the past films that they get excited.
So I've been in the industry for quite some time.
Yes, definitely.
I've been in Tidy High for 5 years. Luku sahi huwezi get
kwa mzee, huwezi kwa high school
mzee manze. Sahi labda nikuwe mode huko. But I've been in Tidy High, One in a Million. So many, quite a few shows that were used to stream in our local TV channels.
Yeah. Yes. On Showmax?
Showmax? No, this is actually the first show in Showmax.
Oh, nice.
The first one.
How does that make you feel?
It feels amazing, bro.
Especially coming with a relaunch.
Ndio maana unaitandika hivi ukijua ni ya kwanza, bro.
Unatokea na Sykes, ndio. Before then, kuwa na Showmax na all these offerings that inapatiana to consumers and to the film industry players as well. How would you say this is impacting now when wamekuwa kwa space? Impact yao inakaje?
Wenye wamekuwa kwa space?
Venye sasa wamekuja kwa space, in the film space, yeah.
The one thing nimeweza kuona yenye imechangia sana kwa the industry is Showmax has been able to create more employment. Again, watu wenye wana talanta huko nje na wajaweza kuzishowcase poa. Showmax imeka na wasi wengi sana wapya. So many new faces. So you guys are going to experience so many new faces, new talents manze, na support talents. Tari bro.
Sindio.
Great talents.
So finally we can take out our talent and show it to the world.
Yeah, sure.
This is a good platform for us.
Bro, wachana na hizi platforms zingine sijui kina nani, I don't want to mention them. Wachana na wao. Watch Showmax.
Great for African streaming.
At the moment, bro, we're going worldwide.
And they're big on original content, which is what we love.
Exactly.
All right. So for the film that's coming up, the title, maybe a hint on your character, alafu ndio watu wakuwe excited to check out.
So the new show that I'm featuring in is called Antai Kantai, and kitu tunaweza ambia watu yani whoever I'm playing there is the exact opposite of me. The exact opposite of me. Kama unanijua bro, ile ni kazi. Ile ni kazi.
So check out Antai Kantai.
Yes, check out Antai Kantai na tusipatane mtaa anze kusema Kolo
anakuanga sijui aje.
Ile ni kazi bro. Ile ni kazi.
Asante sana. Maybe just like to finally award to our audience. Unajua the one thing that I love about what Showmax is trying to do is to get Kenyans to watch their original content.
Yes.
Na pia kusupport. Sasa ndio through this platform as well on KUTV tunataka kuambia watu wa watch Kenyan content, wa watch original African content. Why would you say they should do that as your last remark?
All I can tell you is kitu imekuwa affordable. Huwezi sema utaihata. It's affordable, it's interesting, there's more magic right now to see. So lipia hii kitu bro na tuendelee. Unaweza ipata kwa simu saa, yani it's very easily accessible at the moment. So watch Showmax.
Right. Thank you very much, Kolo.
Karibu sana my guy.
Enjoy yourself in
Much
there.
appreciated.
Sawa.
Karibu sana.
Sir, thank you for having us here. Welcome to KUTV. Please introduce yourself and let us know briefly what it is that is happening here.
So my name is Roy Njuguna. I run partnerships for the region for Showmax. It's a pleasure to be here. So what we're coming here to do today is we have come to actually launch Showmax in the country and make sure tell people that we are here to stay. And also introduce a number of our products in the country.
Okay.
Yes.
When we say launching Showmax, someone who had Showmax already is like, what do you mean? I've been using Showmax. So what is different with this launch?
So the difference with this launch is what the products we bring on board and the price points. So we have moved over to a new platform. Moreover, we have introduced new products. So we are now we also have a premium product for only 500 shillings. And also another one of our products called Showmax Entertainment for 300 shillings. And all other products go above that. But we are looking at the mobile segment predominantly, and hence we're trying to make sure that Showmax is as affordable as possible to the common Mwananchi.
Right. From as low as 300 Kenyan shillings.
Yes.
You're saying I can carry EPL in my pocket?
Yes, you can carry EPL in your pocket, but EPL is for 500 shillings. And the good thing is that it's all Premier League games, not just one. And moreover, we have other features such as magazine shows. You can play, pause, rewind on your mobile. You can also have a number of shows from Ian Wright, fantasy football shows, reviews, previews, all that is available.
Okay, just
yes.
last one. Because we're trying to get, of course, our Kenyan audience to get into African streaming, which is Showmax. Very big value proposition.
Yes.
How can we encourage them to continue consuming original content?
So one of the things I'll tell you is that, guys, we need to buy Kenyan and work for Kenya. Why? Because all the stories that we're trying to tell are Kenyan stories. We are paying Kenyan actors, we're paying Kenyan producers. So the more you watch, the more stories that we have to tell, the more other guys, the more even you yourself who has a story to tell can come in and tell their own story.
Okay. The other side, film industry players, a last one, what can they be excited about when they see something like this happening from
I think a good question for them. I think it's opportunities and opportunities. So the more stories that they have to tell, the better things we get for them. We're giving them content, we're giving them platforms that they can be able to tell their own stories, and we're giving them those opportunities. So one of the things that we promise to do is to handhold them from start to end. Yeah.
Asante sana for speaking to us.
Hi, welcome.
Have a good time in there.
You too.
When I tell you it was the event of the year yet, you are yet to see what's coming up. So don't go too far. We are going to play you what happened at the launch itself after we had the red carpet conversations. That was Roy, the head of partnerships at Showmax East Africa. And later on, there's going to be something being said by the general manager of Showmax East Africa, Emma Gishonge. Showmax has been at the forefront of storytelling in Africa and in Kenya. Actually, last year, they received 26 nominations in the Kalasha Awards. The films in Showmax received the highest nominations in the Kalasha Awards, as well as the highest wins for the actors and the films themselves. So this is something that we're hoping will be boosting the film industry. We'll get to hear more about later in the showcase that we'll be giving you of what happened inside Sankara when the launch itself went down. But the people who are tuning in so far, just to tell them, waendelee kukaa hapo. We are streaming live on YouTube, KUTV Kenya live, so check it out there, the stream. If you're heading out of your house, you can follow through the conversations on phone. Later on, I'm sitting down with Dennis Kimani, who is also sending a text ako ndani ya show na ndani ya studio pia. We're coming here with the newspaper review in a short while. Fendoman TV anaona anasema tupo ndani sana kabisa. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Also very interesting. Also we have from Albright Geda, watching from Kisumu City, Dala Pacho. Anasema have a great show by the way. All right, thank you very much. Karen Blessing as well, sending in the show. Anasema have a great show, OKENYE, and tuned in to Rise Today. Of course, Karen Blessing, my colleague here on Art and Culture Monday. Continue sending in your feedback. Short break, alafu tunarudi na more of what happened at Showmax, alafu what is happening in your daily. So grab yourself a copy of any of the newspapers. Biashara Tuesday. We'll be right back with you.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi vuguvugu. Pepo pani idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili. Hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Is your first time?
Yeah, I'm kind of scared, but I can do this.
Yeah.
Mess with me. Yeah, let's do this, man.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to get to understand how it's been, what has been this Showmax journey for the last 1 year. And ladies and gentlemen, I am excited to introduce this next personality to show up on stage. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together as we welcome the GM Showmax, Makofi Tafadhali, as we welcome the amazing Emma Gishonge.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and honored guests, all protocols observed. I'm delighted that you've joined us here today. As Lawton said, a little over a year ago, when MultiChoice announced a partnership with Comcast, NBC Universal, and Sky to launch the new Showmax. Since then, we have been working to make this partnership real, most notably through the migration of the Showmax service onto the Peacock streaming platform. With its record ability to host millions of simultaneous live sports streams, the Peacock platform is supported by hundreds of engineers and is globally skilled, and now is in use over 70 countries worldwide. In fact, in 2023, Comcast won a Technology and Engineering Emmy for its sports viewing experiences across Peacock, Sky, and Xfinity. And in January this year, Peacock's exclusive AFC Wild Card game became the biggest live-streamed event in the US history, reaching 27.6 million viewers and a record 16.3 million concurrent devices. This tremendous capacity of the Peacock platform also aligned perfectly with Showmax's ambition to launch Africa's first ever Premier League plan for the mobile. This innovative plan gives Showmax customers access to all 380 PL games live, plus PL documentaries and talk shows on their smartphones for the highly competitive price at 500 Kenya shillings a month. Moreover, the PL product resonates deeply with Africa, a continent of over 450 million smartphones and 250 million Premier League fans. Alongside the Peacock platform and its suitability for the Premier League, the partnership with Comcast, NBC Universal, and Sky also delivered to Showmax a guaranteed ongoing supply of content from its owned brands, including Telemundo, DreamWorks Animations, Universal Pictures, and Focus Features. Further to this, Showmax also continues to draw content from the world's biggest studios, including HBO, Paramount, Banija, BBC, E1, Fremantle, ITV, Lionsgate, Sony, and Warner Brothers. Of course, at Showmax, we are equally committed to our African content slate, and this year we will have more than 1,300 hours of Showmax originals produced, representing a significant 150% increase in production output compared to last year. I'm also delighted that in Kenya we will release 4 new titles this month. Today we had the premiere of Big Girl Small World. Including season 2 of The Real Housewives of Nairobi coming on Friday. Antai Kantai coming on Thursday, tomorrow. And Nili Choma coming on 28th of May. These titles join our other previously released Kenyan originals like Kalasha, Winner, Pepeta, Single Kiasi, Crime and Justice, Igiza, Second Family, and so much more. We are very proud of this content because it directly demonstrates the skill and the talent our Kenya film and TV community, many of whom are in the audience today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for them. Thank you. While our content slate is very exciting indeed, we are also very excited that we offer very competitive prices for each of our plans. You can get the general entertainment on mobile for 300 shillings a month, general entertainment lean-back option at 650 shillings a month, Premier League on mobile 500 Kenya shillings a month, and you also get combos, GE Mobile and Premier League at 700 shillings a month, and GE all devices and Premier League at 1,000 shillings a month. And because we want to make it easy for customers to afford and enjoy the stories they love. Today, we are also very happy that we have M-Pesa on platform, among other payment options. You can also pay through the USSD shortcode *375#. You can pay using cards, and if you're a DSTV customer, you can add Showmax to your bill. In this regard, I must extend my sincere thanks to the team at Safaricom, who have always been wonderful and encouraging partners, and who've always helped us now make this payment available across Africa. Rolling out the new Showmax across sub-Saharan Africa has been a mammoth task, but together with our partners, we have been able to successfully do so and look forward to working together more in the future. I'd also like to take this moment to thank the Showmax team in Kenya for all their ongoing hard work. They follow the example of the team at our sister company, MultiChoice Kenya, whose experience and knowledge of working in this market has been deeply invaluable, not just this year, but across all the 8 years of Showmax's existence. Finally, let me also say to all our Showmax customers in Nairobi, Mombasa, Eldoret, Kisumu, Nakuru, Malindi, and across the country, thank you for your support as we work to revolutionize streaming in Africa. In closing, finally, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new era of streaming in Africa. This is Showmax.
Just on behalf of MultiChoice Group, I'm very privileged to be here. We've been over 40 years, 50 countries. We've been learning and we've been listening to our customers all this time, and our customers have been asking for cheaper prices. They've been asking for EPL only bouquets. They've been asking for no more repeats, and I think today is the answer. We took 40 years, but I think we are shaping the next 40 years with yourself. So this is Showmax for you. So the way we think MultiChoice, the way we think Showmax, imagine a Gen Z young brother coming, study abroad, right? And comes back home, comes with that accent and full of, aspirations to grow, huge potential. But once the power goes off and he gets into the traffic, then he gets a bit stuck. So why I'm telling you this story is the same as trying to have a very fast car in one of the developed worlds and come to Africa and get stuck in traffic. So this partnership is not just between two titans of the industry, Comcast and NBC Universal, which more than 100 years, and one of the leaders in Africa for MultiChoice. But it's where we're going to help adjust this huge potential platform to the African continent, to the African taste. So in terms of the content, in terms of the languages, and I think that's why we're so excited to be the premier and to become the most watched streaming platform in Africa. So we are very excited about that, and we really need, we're not perfect yet. We're looking for, this partnership is also with you, your customers. Tell us, keep us challenging us. Right now we have developed, but you're still asking for more. Now you're asking for 4K, you're asking for more leagues. So that really inspires us every day. Keep challenging us, and I think we couldn't be in the best place as here in Kenya to start that streaming revolution. This is the Silicon Savannah of Africa, and we are so proud to really mark this day because it's beyond Kenya. All your stars, all the cast and crew, this is beyond borders. This is something big, and I just want to know if you are ready for this revolution. Are you ready for this revolution? All right, so we cannot do it alone. We need you. You need you to keep the consumer stuck to those screens. And I think I want on local content, we normally call ourselves the Kenya most loved Kenya content, as the best storyteller. I just want to appreciate someone that they call him various names, but the latest one that I heard is the grandpa of local content. Please, can you stand up, Timothy? Timothy, please. Timothy is the brain of all local content, guys, in MultiChoice and beyond. So thank you so much, and we look forward to keep creating very exciting and different content. This platform gives us opportunity to do magic things. And one thing without telling you what's coming up, just look forward to the first Kenyan sci-fi series. Yes, sci-fi series coming up. So on Showmax very soon. So I just want to thank Emma and the whole Showmax team. It's been very hard 12 months. We look forward to continue growing. The future is bright, and welcome. Thank you so much for being here, and let's do it together. Shika Showmax. Asante sana.
Thank you very much.
Look at that. That's what happened. Those were the conversations at Showmax relaunch at Sankara Westlands last week. Now, you can also be one of those people that you see in a matatu following through a Manchester United versus Arsenal game. Unashanga, hii stream ni safi. Huyu jamaa ametoa wapi stream. Yeah? So if you want to see Man U getting beaten every other time, you just have to pay 500 Kenyan shillings for the Premier League package on Showmax, and you have the Manchester losers in your pocket so that you walk along with them and then see how they are failing at football every other time. So Showmax, if you go to showmax.com, that's where you can get to sign up, register your details, name, email address, and all of that. Choose your preferred method of payment. It is easy to pay. You can pay with card or with M-Pesa as well for Kenyan customers. And then you are good to go. So the packages start from 300 Kenyan shillings for a select number of shows on your mobile device. That's mobile only, 300 Kenyan shillings. And then for 500 Kenyan shillings, you get the Premier League package. So for Premier League package, which can be streamed on mobile device only, 500 Kenyan shillings every other month. So they said the Premier League is the one that they are focusing on the most, given there's a huge market for Premier League football in Kenya, in Africa. Actually, I was trying to get that figure across the continent. Yes, they found out that in this continent, we have about 250 million EPL fans, which represent around 20% of that global share in terms of fans who are watching the Premier League. So for 500 Kenyan shillings, you can watch football on demand anywhere you go on your mobile device. For 700 Kenyan shillings, if you want football plus exclusive access to all the shows on Showmax, so that's what you pay, 700 Kenyan shillings. But if you don't want football, but want all the shows, 650 Kenyan shillings. And then for 1,000 bob, you can watch this across all your devices. So on your laptop, on your TV, on your phone, on your iPad, on your tablet, all of that access across devices that you're streaming from for only 1,000 Kenyan shillings. Some of the exciting shows that are there, we go to see the cast members, the sets that they are using, The Real Housewives of Nairobi, starring Vera Sidika and the likes is also showing for another season. You can check it out there. More of the other shows. Gigi is also coming back for another season. Single Kiasi is up for season 3 actually. Crime and Justice, which has already been there. There's Pepeta, which aired for a whole season. There's County 49 as well, and new shows like Antai Kantai, whose whole cast, or almost the whole cast that we got to speak with there at the red carpet. So that's what happened at the Showmax relaunch. Showmax 2.0 is now streaming to you, courtesy of their partnership with NBC Universal. They are giving you shows ranging from HBO, so you're getting international shows as well, from what we have seen in Oppenheimer showing up in the screens, in IMAX, all the way to The House of Dragon, all the way to Game of Thrones. If you want to have a recap of that, you can watch all the seasons. They're available to you on Showmax. Now, from that, we'll be back to hear what Dennis Kimani watches, so we can see if we will imitate him and look for those shows. But the main reason is here is to look at what is developing in the dailies here this morning. The Standard: schools reopen as JSS teachers strike. That's the standard they're setting. We look at what the other headlines are looking like, and then your reactions. We're sampling them across social platforms. This is Biashara Tuesday. The newspaper review is coming up. Don't go far. Comments from our YouTube live stream, KUTV Kenya Live. Justine Akinyi, looking sharp, OKENYE. You know, I can stand if I could, but thank you. Enjoying the show. Tunu TV official just tuned into the show. It is lit. I see here as well my director and my programs controller, Boniface Odhiambo, is watching and tuned in to the show as well. Tash Mitambo anasema ako Rirundani but ako ndani ya show pia, so he's in two places at the same time. Asante sana mzee Tash Mitambo for tuning in to the show. Dulo Atayas anatune into the show, anasema expect something exciting soon on this show. So Dulo Atayas has something that is exciting, and he will let me know. I will let you know whether it's in this show or in the next show. Asante sana mzee Dulo for tuning in. Now, Dennis Kimani is here with me. Let's get to see what he has to say on what the developments have been like in the dailies. And also, grab yourself a copy while it's still at 60 bob, yeah? You're still at 60 bob before the finance bill gets a tax on top of it. We'll have a look at that. Now, the Business Daily. Let's begin there today. Budget boss loses fight for access to county accounts. Budget boss loses fight to access or for access to county accounts. The Business Daily here is talking about the Controller of Budgets, who has now lost a bid to monitor counties' bank accounts. And this is supposed to happen, or they were requesting for this to happen in real time. And it's derailing the efforts to tame the irregularities that have clouded how devolved units pay contractors and other bills. It's very interesting to see this story on the front of the Business Daily for two reasons. One, we have been having this discussion off air on whether the revenue that is remitted from the counties should be monitored by the Controller of Budgets, or should it be remitted to the national government first, as it has always been, or should that be business that's concluded at the county level? That's the first interesting thing that I've seen about it. I'll be getting Dennis's view. The second thing that I've seen about it is Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, who's making it back to the front of the Business Daily. Someone had pointed it out that is becoming too much. That was Nick Madime Mwangi, who said that kila time Business Daily hawana effort, they just throw the same photo of Kamau Thuge and Njuguna Ndung'u. So now we just have a third person who's the Controller of Budgets, but it's the same photo for the two gentlemen there. The editor still as lazy as before, but we'll be looking mostly at the stories. Apologies to the editor of the Business Daily. It's just work. The Daily Nation has their back to school chaos. Primary and secondary schools across the country went back to school for the second term yesterday, with hundreds of learners and their teachers in flood-hit areas forced to seek refuge in other schools. We see here a very disturbing picture of, or a very concerning picture of a pupil at Muslim Primary School in Nakuru County who is scooping dirty water from a corridor using a plate after reopening for term 2 yesterday. So the institution is among those affected by floods, and there is money released from the national government to rehabilitate 60 plus schools across the country. Though, as that is awaiting to happen, we are following up on where that money has been remitted according to the Access to Information Act that is there on the Article 35 of the Constitution. Though JSS teachers are on strike. So it is strike after strike after strike. Doctors down to their tools for 56 days. They're back to work. However, now JSS teachers are on strike. Junior secondary school teachers are on strike. And that's what the Standard is prioritizing at the headline. Schools reopen to JSS teachers strike. The image we are being shown is junior secondary school teachers in Nakuru. Funny that the Daily Nation is showing a student in Nakuru, and here we are seeing JSS teachers in Nakuru who will not return to class unless they are employed on permanent and pensionable terms, and they also get to be paid just like the teachers on permanent and pensionable terms. Healthcare was in crisis, now education is finding itself in crisis. How MPs saved Linturi's CS post? Tutambiwa na deno. Finance Bill of 2024? Tutambiwa na deno. I think let's begin today with the editorial cartoon so that Dennis Kimani can commentate on it, and then we begin. So we have here fertilizer scandal from CS Linturi, who's drowning. So CS Linturi is drowning there, a cartoon by Dula. There's a lifeboat. They know nana yo nini. Yeah. Are you saying it? Let me get what your reaction is like on this editorial cartoon. So I've just shared it with you as well there. You can check it on your WhatsApp. Fake fertilizer scandal. NCPB logo. CS Linturi chains. Alafu kuna wrecking ball that is sinking there, and then ametupiwa ka lifeboat. Now that's Parliament, right? Yeah. On a ship. What do you make of this? Maybe that can open for the floor for this conversation.
Morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Richard. I always appreciate being here. It's always a green morning.
Yes.
I have seen that cartoon. Mm-hmm. I think Kenyans are falling to the right places. Mm-hmm. Why are we sanitizing people who don't really mean well for Kenyans? Mm-hmm. And on that boat, we are seeing the Parliament, because the Parliament is everything. Mm-hmm. It is where we make laws. It is where we amend laws, and even crucify those people who have gone against our laws.
Yeah.
It is true, and it is very unfortunate that after farmers have suffered the fake fertilizers, the lots of rain, we are still sanitizing people who should help them protect their crops and even their farm products.
Yes.
Yeah.
7 out of 10, right?
Yes.
7 out of 10 members of Parliament cleared CS Linturi, which means these are the 7 people who are throwing that lifeboat there. I just want to tie it also with yesterday's cartoon as well, and this is a bit intense. It's serious. It's going to show up there on the screen. Still CS Linturi, and then a voice from one of the committee members saying, "This committee clears you of any wrongdoings." And then he's covered in, is that fertilizer? I've shared with you this very image as well, but because of internet outages, again in East Africa, vitu ziko slow sana, but you can see that. What do you make of this one as well?
I think Kenyans, the Mount Kenya people will come to cry one day, because Mount Kenya are the farmers, and then the president has put only Mount Kenya in those departments that are failing. The fertilizer case is Mount Kenya, it is failing. Budgetary, it is failing. Honorable Dinti Njoro. So at the end of the time, he'll come and tell you, I put your people there, and the one who are failing.
So this could be something that the president can use against the Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah? And actually, I gave you everything.
I gave you everything. And actually, 2027, he does not need these people, because if Raila Odinga goes to AU, Ruto will have ODM on his side, amerudisha mkono, because Coast will go to Ruto, Nairobi will go to Ruto, Kisumu will go to Ruto. So where are Mount Kenyans?
Yeah, atawambia, me, I gave you everything. Now it's your time to also maybe pay me back.
Yes.
At this point. We saw the leaders from Meru County coming out to defend CS Linturi, saying, this is our leader, he has done nothing wrong. It seems then people from Mount Kenya, the leadership itself, doesn't see any problem with what their people are doing, given AKA CS Linturi.
I think Meru people are sanitizing people who cannot work. Hakuna mwangaza ya kazi Meru. They were just fighting mwangaza the other day because they are all greed of power. Someone wants to be somewhere. We have not sat down and said we want Kenya to forge forward, and everybody is not about power. It is about how well you can do. Because a lot of things are happening because of I want to be there. I have to be on the table. But who is the person who is not benefiting? It is the more common mwananchi. Now we are seeing JCC is going to on strike.
JSS, yes.
JSS is going on strike.
Yes.
The hustler child will not go to school because the children who are in private, they'll still go to school. The private teachers are in school. Floods have not flooded any private school. Only the public schools who are under trees schools, they're the one who have been affected.
Yes.
So it is time we have a country that cares, walks the talk.
Yes.
You see?
Right. So this fertilizer scandal is the deep isht that CS Linturi finds himself in. We're seeing flies all around him. It seems no one sees the problem, and the committee sees mambo iko shwari. I have a question for you before we move to now the headlines. What is it with Meru County? This is Mithika Linturi from Meru County. Kawira Mwangaza, the governor, who has undergone 2 impeachment motions and a likely third, which is brewing, a conversation that's still brewing within Meru County. And we've seen the leaders come out to defend both of these, defending the governor, defending the CS. Are we the ones on the wrong? Meru County, there's something that we don't know about them.
What I think and what I will tell the people of Meru, it is all these feuds and all this drama that they are having in their county, it is because they went away from the 3 stones.
Okay.
The Mount Kenya was Kikuyu, Meru and Embu. But they chose to forget us. They chose to go away from a Kikuyu because they have already broken the 3 stones. If a pot, my grandmother's pot, cannot cook with the 2 stones. They must be 3 stones. And that's why we are suffering, because they were bought cheaply. They were told, we will do this and do this. But they forgot that they are the same people who fought for this republic. They forgot that they are the majority. Now yesterday was, the other day, I was listening to our deputy president who seriously fought the 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote before election. He even sponsored bills to fight that bill in parliament when he was sitting in that parliament, and that bill dropped. What has it come that now, because he's a deputy president, we can go back to that thing? If Mount Kenya is not the most populous people in this country, then he should not bring that thing now, because they are eyeing 2027.
Right.
That is the problem. Because we politicize everything and forget that the truth must be always the winning side.
Okay.
We want to play a lot of politics with people's mind. Ruiru has 800,000 people.
Yes.
Kuresoi has 40K. And they are getting 100 million together. You want to tell me this fact has just come to his mind
now? Right. Okay.
It's not possible.
So I had to travel from Kisii County before I got to understand or to hear 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. That's something I got to hear when I got to this other side of the republic. Why is that an important statement, and why is it so common in the Mount Kenya region?
It is not an important statement to us. It is the revenue sharing formula.
Okay.
We give money to where people belongs. You see, Ruiru is not because we are Kikuyus. That's why we are saying Ruiru to get more money. It is because we are cosmopolitan. A lot of people are coming from Kisumu to come and stay here.
Yes.
A lot of people from Kisumu are in our schools.
Yes.
So how much do you want our schools to be lagging behind when a lot of schools in Kuresoi and those parts that are sparsely populated, they're having a lot of money, yet they have less numbers of
population,
pupils.
yes.
You see?
Okay.
It is facts. It is something that can be seen.
It has nothing to do with the numbers or the tribes that are
It is
there.
nothing to do with tribes because Ruiru needs more infrastructure than a country in the country.
As a resident of Ruiru, I'll have to agree.
It's true.
Yes.
Now the other day Ruiru was flooding. Yeah. No drainage. Storm water is killing people because we have allocated our money the wrong way.
Okay.
The formula is wrong. And it is the same people who are in parliament who are sanitizing even in Turi who fought it.
Okay.
Just because of William Ruto. Now I'm saying that if they want us to come back there, they have to go back to Uhuru Kenyatta and tell him and say sorry to him because he brought that bill because he had passion for Kenya.
Yes.
Not only Mount Kenya. They threw all the kind of words they wanted to him. And we have not forgotten.
Right.
Yeah.
They are saying in the Standard, YDP is now reading Uhuru's script.
Yes.
Yes. So you're saying is taking that playbook from Uhuru Kenyatta and continuing it after the elections.
Yes, because already he has gotten what he wants.
Okay.
But I want to tell him, 2027 we are having an economist. We are now that Dr. James Mwangi, we are having him being talked by a lot of people to come and rescue Kenya.
By Dr. James Mwangi, we are talking about equity?
Equity.
Okay.
That person is presidential.
That is a presidential person.
Is a presidential person.
Okay.
And I'm telling Kenyans that we need a Kibaki time. We cannot be continuing to play politics every election.
Yes.
If James Mwangi agrees to be the president of Kenya, William Ruto will be a one-term president.
You think so? That will be a first of this nation.
It is true. Not even, it is my point of opinion, but I can give you the facts. Muranga has never produced a president. Nyeri has, Kiambu has, Muranga has 2 million. In Kikuyu, in Mount Kenya, there is something we call Duraku. This is going to vote all of us in one bucket. Kumira. You see, the same Linturi, they will have to back James Mwangi.
Okay.
Because we are suffering.
You're saying we need an economic expert.
Yes.
But President William Ruto says he is an economic expert.
He's not.
He is surrounded by economic advisors whose annual outlay is 1.1 billion, which is an increase from previous year, which they were given 977 million, an advisory unit of economics, President Ruto's Council of Economic Advisors. Watu wanalipwa vizuri, akona watu wamemsurround economists. Why do we need, maybe James Mwangi should join his economic council, no?
No.
Rather than
James Mwangi cannot join President William Ruto to advise him. He's already making his own entity be held and had in the whole of Africa.
Yes, globally actually.
Globally. So William Ruto.
So you're saying Kinandi hakuna kitu anafanya huko.
Hakuna kitu anafanya. I will give you an instance of the Finance Bill 2024.
Yes.
When these people came to power, they came and told us, we found the coffers of treasury empty. You know what happened, Richard? Economists will tell you. Uhuru Kenyatta hakuwa nataka any grudge with anybody. He told Kenyans, support Raila Odinga so that the Muranga billionaires who have given me the treasure bonds, we don't have to return them to them now. We'll return it after Raila rules. You see, William Ruto has no friends. That's why he has to overtax Kenyans to get money. Uhuru Kenyatta could go to James Mwangi, give me your 60 million, I idea people, and then I will pay you back. You see? So
saying William Ruto does not have rich friends.
He has no rich friends.
Okay.
Kenya is run by two bonds. We have the treasure bonds and the euro bonds. Now, Uhuru left them with the IMF. You have to pay IMF either way. You have to pay World Bank. But the president of Kenya, His Excellency William Ruto, can choose not to pay the people of Kenya because haukunichagua, you never supported me. So your money will be given by the person.
But 8 million people did. 8 million people did, which is something that maybe should be a change in mindset of the government of Kenya, which is the Kenya Kwanza government currently, that they still should take care of. They should be answerable to 8 million Kenyans. And as you've brought up the finance bill of 2024, I think let's just get a few of those pointers in and see what Kenyans can expect, right? And see Economic Advising Council, His Excellency President William Ruto wamemwambia aongeze taxes wapi. At the very baseline unaanza na household. Mkate. 400 grams. Saizi I think it's at 65 shillings. So you'll be buying it at 75 bob. This bread used to be 30 shillings when I was in class 5 or 6 there. Now it's way expensive at this point.
16% VAT on a bread.
16% VAT, which was VAT exempt before, right? So that is the first attack on households. And then now we're going to transactions.
There's milk.
There's milk as well. So bread and milk. Na umeambiwa kama ni ngumu kununua mkate, kula kangumu. Kangumu na kule kangumu.
Kama ngumu. Niliona ngumu na sonko juzi.
Right. And wow. we'll get into Sonko at some point, because he's quite a big blogger when it comes to this finance bill. Squeezy is blogging.
He's a blogger nowadays.
But while we are still at the finance bill, so bread is up first for VAT. There's going to be reintroduction of VAT to supply of electric bicycles, electric buses, and solar and lithium-ion batteries. Being a president who is very focused on matters of climate change and someone who's in that space, isn't this counter-productive on our efforts?
That's a very good thing for climate, green vehicles and things. But this is not news. Already, Dubai has given us money. Yes, the other day I was in Mathare. Richard, there's something wrong with Kenya.
Yes.
And a lot of things must happen. Do you imagine people in Mathare, nyumba zao, flats za mawe, they have been demolished.
Yes.
These people has nowhere to go. The same river stream that passes through City Park, somewhere at Aga Khan, they have already built almost the whole of river reserve. Kisu ama Msumeno ikate pande zote. Where are they going to hustlers who voted for them and then they are leaving the rich people in Westlands who have grabbed land? That is illegal.
Okay.
They are working against the spirit of hustler. The people who voted for them, they woke up early to vote for this government. They are really doing against what these people expected. From bread to milk.
And the rich people are being exempted from helicopter taxes, by the way.
Yes.
I'm hoping we'll get into it in just a few. Zero taxes on helicopter and its parts as well. Finance Bill 2024 also introduces the motor vehicle tax, or the motor vehicle circulation tax, which is set at 2.5% of the vehicle's value. But here, you know, kama mimi ni hustler natembea, sintasema ni sawa.
Mimi niko tu sawa. I have my own Futsubishi.
Okay.
I'm good.
So no problem with the motor vehicle tax. Minimum at 5k, maximum at 100k. No problems at all. Withholding tax. The bill also introduces withholding tax on goods supplied to the public entities at 3% for resident persons and 5% for non-residents. When it comes to monetizing of digital content, and this is going to be very key. Kuna hii message that we are trying to really to pass around, and I'm seeing it, and I'm trying to join in that, in that train, that voting is important for everyone, including digital content creators who are in a different, or a majority of them are in a different generation, which is yet to vote, maybe even for their first time. They should know that operators of digital platforms or those monetizing digital content will face a 20% tax for non-residents and 5% for residents. This is a shift from the digital service tax, which was there before at a rate of 1.5%. So saizi unaenda kulipa 5% for residents and 20% for non-residents. And then there's going to be a significant economic presence tax at 30% for certain non-residents. So these are the likes of Netflix, Spotify, and these other global players who have to pay that extra. Now unadhani yo trickle effect itafikia nani?
Itafikia the common mwananchi. Like now, I have sent you a script.
Yes.
I have just written a script named Gwiji. I am so happy that I have seen that Showmax thing. I have written this script just to market for City Park.
Manitumia wapi bana? Sioni hapa kitu.
Iko kwa WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yes. This script is named Gwiji. We are trying to write this script to show the effects of not facing City Park. What has happened? There's a lot of robbery, rapists, a lot of drug lords in City Park. And to bring that matter to the table, the CFA user group, we have a rehabilitation user group led by Boniface Dirango. Boniface Durango came up with the rehabilitation center inside City Park, because a lot of people, learned people, who go to look for jobs in Westlands, when they lose they don't get jobs, they come back to City Park to sleep. And those who are poor, they keep sleeping there. They become the rapists, the drug lords in City Park. So the rehabilitation center is it is located in C12, a building, the first botanical gardener in Kenya, Peter, who is the same person who came up with IUCN. Yeah, you know IUCN for nature-based solutions.
Okay.
He lived in the house, the C12.
Okay.
Now Governor Sakaja wants to turn the same house that is helping people rehabilitate their mind into a club. Imagine.
Right inside of the park.
Already, he was there last week in the same house, throwing away the place, telling our treasurer that you have to come out of this house. Yet this person has been in City Park for almost 10 years rehabilitating people from drugs. Then Sakaja wants to come up and bring a bar there.
A bar for relaxation, bro.
Imagine. And there's a ball in green. I don't understand. Already City Park has ball in green.
Right. And then Nairobi County is supposed to also release its own finance bill for 2024. How do you expect that to look like?
Now, first, the controller of budget has already said this Dimpo guy has already stolen 10 billion. We have first to look where this money has gone before we come up with another finance bill. Collecting our money, then it was used for TikTok. Is it even possible?
Yes, we'll see. We'll see if TikTok will be allocated something in the Nairobi finance bill. But let me just maybe finish up with some of the key changes which will be there in the finance bill of 2024 nationally at large. So I got here to excise duty for the following proposed to increase from 15% to 20%. Telephone and internet data services. So making phone calls is going to be expensive. Accessing the internet is going to be expensive. And therefore, digital content creators, you know that. Money transfer services by cellular phone services providers. So bank to M-Pesa also, bei inapanda sana. Fees charged for money transfer services expected to rise even after they already did previously after the COVID-19 period. Excess duty for the following proposed to increase also from 12% to 20%. Betting, gaming, prize competition, and lotteries as well. So your place ya kustake, mali unaeka stake, bei inapanda, which means you're getting less. You could actually bet, I wish I had the calculation that was done last week here. Anyway, so you could bet, let's say 1,000 Kenyan shillings. There's tax that is cut.
200 shillings is theirs.
Washachukua hiyo. Alafu umekelea bet. Once you've done that transfer from your bank to this service platform that you're using to make the bet, hiyo already washaongeza wanakata. And then once on your every earning, pia lazima wakata. So you could place a bet of 1,000 Kenyan shillings and win huge by walking home with 600 bob. So it's counterintuitive for people who want to get into the betting and sporting field. It's a way for the government to discourage these vices.
It is not a way to discourage anything, because, Richard, the only job opportunity Kenyans have now is betting. There are no jobs out there. We just look for money to bet.
We are fighting that through taxes, and also fighting drug abuse through increasing taxes on wines and spirits.
That is impossible. Then the other people are coming with bars in the forest.
What is the best way then we can approach it? Kama hatuwezi kulipisha kutumia vitu mbaya, tutafanya aje ukuwe mtu serious? Wache kuwa idol.
Kitu yenye tu unaweza fanya. Now we are coming up with green jobs. There's litter everywhere. There's litter everywhere. Kenyans and the president give Kenyans ile kazi mtaani. Walikuwa na dharau hiyo kitu, and that thing was doing a lot of good things to people. Unaona? Because, Richard, the work of the government is to provide affordable houses. Even Kibaki was providing affordable houses. William Ruto is coming to tell us that he is building houses. That is the fundamental right of a government. So that is nothing new. And houses cannot build themselves.
Yes, that's why we are paying for them though.
Yeah. So akitoa affordable, akitoa kazi mtaani, and then he's telling us to build houses. So he has reduced almost 30,000 youths from a job, because they are not going to be employed in those mjengos, all of them.
Yes.
You see?
Okay. And so we are using affordable housing as a way to create jobs, or the government of Kenya currently is using affordable housing as a way to create jobs, and you feel like Kazi Mtaani and such green jobs as the ones that you are up to in City Park would be a great way to do that.
Yes.
That's a tick then. What about the additional revenue the government is trying to raise? They're saying that this finance bill, the increase in taxes at the baseline, is the way for them to raise an additional 323 billion Kenyan shillings approximately. What other way they could, President William Ruto is throwing his hands up and saying, what other way can I do? What can I do to raise 300 billion? You don't want me to borrow more? What else can I do there?
I've already told you what I think. I think the president should go back and look for good friends. Good friends who can come up with investments in Kenya.
Good rich friends,
Good rich friends who will give him a lot of support in coming with economic, vibrant policies. Coming up with businesses, you see, because like Equity, the other day they were telling us that Equity has gone have made a loss at pesa imeibiwa Equity, but yesterday the CEO of Equity has made 16 billion in 3 months
in profit.
Net profit.
Right. So these are the people. These are the good friends.
Those are the good friends. Those are the presidential people we need in Kenya.
All right.
President William Ruto stood in a school and told students, the first job I got is being an MP.
An MP, yes.
Right? Yes. That is a tick for him. But how many bills throughout the time he has been in parliament has he sponsored
which are useful,
that won in parliament and are useful for Kenyans now? Because they are the same age as James Mwangi. James Mwangi, you can see Equity is making 16 billion in 3 months. What are his bills? What are they doing?
Right.
When he was the Minister of Agriculture, did he build any dams? If he did, these floods hasn't happened.
Yes.
Because the work of a Minister of Agriculture is to build dams for irrigation. Ile ilikuwa inaitwaje? Galana Kulalu iliisha.
Yes, Arwar
Kimwarel iliisha.
Yes.
Then what Kenyans are you telling us that we're having an economist in power? We're having a politician.
We're having a former Minister of Agriculture in power. That's why he cannot fire anyone else from that ministry. Yes.
And we need to revitalize ourselves. We need to come up to a...
President William Ruto is the last Minister of Agriculture to be impeached or to be fired.
Imagine, he's the last. Now he has sanitized another.
Thank you very much, Deno. Time is not on our side, so we want to close it at this point, and I thought I would get so much time for you to, of course, to give reactions to what has been there on the day. JSS going on strike, and schools back in chaos, and as well as the finance bill of 2024, but I think we've highlighted the most important bits. Maybe just one closing word from you before we close this segment.
The only thing I would say is thank you, Kenya, for continuing to support everything that we are doing. I want to tell Moses Kuria, don't buy what they are telling you. They want you to resign. If William Ruto never resigned as a deputy president, don't resign as the CS. Ensure you do what the people chose you to do. Go until the last minute. And we are waiting for you this time, this other side, when 2027 come, for us to win this.
Right.
And again, I want to pray for Tottenham. We are going as Team London.
You want to pray for Tottenham?
Yes.
Or for them to win or what?
Yeah, it's London for London.
Maybe Benny Hina Kombe. Thank you very much, Deno. We are going to play an outro of what we had to as a takeaway from that launch of Showmax 2.0 as we close up this show. Thank you very much for tuning in to KUTV Rise today. Deno, thank you very much for creating time as well.
Thank you, Richard.
Yes. Yeah. Continue having a green day and a green morning every day.
I also see you're so green.
Thank you. Ni psych to. Nikikuona hapa pia najua sustainability. Iko top, si ndio?
Now you continue pushing for us. Manze, City Park Sakaja for 104 years.
Yes.
This is not a lie. This is a documentation. City Park was given by the Kiharo community 104 years ago.
Right.
It has been in the local government. It has reduced in size and depletion of resources.
Okay.
Now that the forest is with Kenya Forest Service, please, there are a lot of efforts, negative efforts, even from the ministry and the top government officials. not to see the city park fenced.
Right.
But we are going to win this war.
All the best in that one.
Yeah.
Okay, Sakaja before wakukujie. Dennis Kimani on set here with me on the newspaper review section. I'm closing it up with a comment from Fishtown, who is watching from the city of Angels. Anasema, shout out to the whole team na my friends who are hosting this KUTV Rise Today. Remember, this comes to you every Monday and Tuesday. Monday, Karen Blessing comes on art and culture. Alafu mimi on Tuesday with Biashara Tuesday here, dissecting the economy, business, as you've seen, of course, conversations as well, which are relevant to you. Today, we tackled Article 35 of the Constitution on the Information Act that gives you access to Information Act that gives you the chance to request for information from the government and also to request information from private entities. And also, as you've heard from Deno, mambo ni tight, lakini we are hoping that the government can take a look at green jobs as a way to create more jobs and also to give us a chance to raise more revenue other than the affordable housing, which again, you will be mandatory be paying for. SHIF, Social Health Insurance Fund, and the Affordable Housing Levy now officially will be there in your pay slips. Mwihaki Mains anasema, a mimic of Kikuyu's entitlement. I don't know who he's talking about. Labda ni Deno. Deno. Naambia uko na entitlement bana. Unataka 1 shilling 1 vote kila saa. Na umekuwa kwa serikali tangu 1963.
Hakuna entitlement. Si yeye ametoka kwao amekuja na Kiambu.
Yeah, apewe hiyo. Ndio. All right. The president must be reminded daily on his undoing to the nations. That's Fendoman TV saying lazima tukumbushe President William Ruto every day. Thank you for tuning in and for that feedback. We'll be back next week again. Continue following KUTV's rest of the broadcasting. My name is Richard OKENYE. May your profits be high, but your jokes and laughter be higher so that you're laughing all the way to the bank. I'm leaving you with this from Showmax. I'll see you around.
This one will be epic.
If I have popcorn, it means definitely it's time for us to enjoy some films and movies. So let me just put it away first of all before I get into that. You've seen what we've offered for you there, a conversation with the head of partnerships at Showmax. We're here for the relaunch of Showmax 2.0. And if you are not here in Sankara, Westlands, I wonder where you were at tonight, because it is star-studded room. From right behind me, what you can see, this is the set of The Real Housewives of Nairobi that is coming again for another season. This plus much more. There are other Kenyan original content that is going to be streaming right from today till tomorrow. We spoke to the cast of Untying Kantai. We also spoke to Nili Choma. There's Gigi coming through and many other shows that you can get to enjoy from as low as 300 shillings on your mobile device and also all the way to your browser. Showmax 2.0 is available to you right now, and I hope you did enjoy what we showcased to you. Keep it here on KUTV Kenya until the next one.
Yes. You have to flip it. 20 Biashara boss. Okay.